Welcome back. Let's talk politics. The election is 12 days away, and so is the day the political ads will stop playing on your TV screen. Just saying, something to look forward to. So many races are so tight this year, and we've looked at the polls for a glimpse of how candidates are doing, but tonight, let's look at something different. Let's look at the money to see where the big money is going. That's often an indicator of where the pros think the race is really headed. And right now, there are two notable local races where it appears the big money national folks have decided the risk is not worth the investment. Up first, Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez. She's the Democrat battling Republican Joe Kent in Southwest Washington. The Washington Post reports that Gluesenkamp-Perez has not received any direct money from the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, also known as the DCCC. No money to help with ads. That group only exists to support Democratic candidates nationwide. She's also being blanked by the House Majority PAC, which is also supporting House Democrats around the country. The lack of that funding for Gluesenkamp-Perez seems to show that the national folks don't believe she can win. The candidate was at our studio today for the taping of Straight Talk. Laurel Porter asked her about that lack of national Democratic support.
I am proud to be running an independent race, and I'm proud that my dollars are by and large coming from Washington State. I haven't been fundraising in Dallas, Texas, or Mar-a-Lago or Washington, D.C. This race is a grassroots race being funded by people in Washington State. And so I'm really proud to continue to be an independent voice for our district. And so it's frustrating that, you know, the DCCC is doing their own thing, but I'm really proud of continuing to run an independent race.
The other candidate is Democrat Jamie McLeod Skinner, battling Republican Lori Chavez DeRemer for Oregon's 5th congressional district seat. It looks like national Republicans are betting on this race and national Democrats, not so much. The Oregonian points out that McLeod Skinner raised and spent twice as much money over the summer as Chavez DeRemer. But now, with the race considered one of the top 10 that are most likely to decide which party controls the U.S. House, yes, in that race, national Democratic spending on McLeod Skinner is far behind Republican spending on Chavez DeRemer. The paper reports the Congressional Leadership Fund, which is the Republican Party's super PAC, has spent $5.3 million to help Chavez DeRemer. In contrast, the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee has spent $1.85 million to help McLeod Skinner, and the House Majority PAC has spent nothing. Now, nearly $2 million is not a small amount, but those numbers do seem to show that national Republicans believe their money is being well spent in the campaign, and perhaps national Democrats do not. And while the national Democrats are keeping their wallets mostly closed in those two races, the bank account seems to be wide open for gubernatorial candidate Tina Kotek. The same goes for Republicans and their candidate in our race here, Christine Drazan. Let's take a look at the money in the Oregon governor's race now. And we've been talking about Democrats for the last few minutes, so let's start by checking in on the Republican, Drazan's campaign bank account. She has over $1.6 million available to spend. Just 2 days ago, by the way, the Republican Governors Association, that's the fundraising arm of the GOP, they dumped in another $500,000. That brings their total contributions to Drazan's campaign to just over $5.8 million. And there's another big contribution worth mentioning. Nike co-founder Phil Knight donated another $500,000 to Drazan on Tuesday. He's now given her $1.5 million, and it's all been within the month of October. And don't expect the Drazan ads to slow down, by the way. On Monday, her campaign spent nearly $1.3 million with an ad agency. Now, checking in on Democrat Tina Kotek. Her bank account holds more than $2.2 million. On Tuesday, the Democratic Governors Association, that's the Democratic fundraising arm, they pitched in another $500,000, bringing their total donations to over $6.3 million. That is some serious spending in their quest to keep Oregon blue. Kotek also received several donations between $50,000 and $100,000 in the past week or so. Most come from political action committees. And Kotek ads are also going to keep running. Get this, in the last week since October 20th, Kotek's campaign has spent approximately $2.6 million on political strategy and ad campaigns. Now, let's check in on non-affiliated candidate Betsy Johnson. She has $1.2 million on hand. By the way, her campaign finance numbers are being filed later than her opponents, so we only have data from October 19th and before. Now, they're not doing anything wrong. They're following the rules. I just want you to know that our numbers could be a bit outdated. There really aren't any notable contributions recently in her file. Most of the money is coming in from individuals and businesses, with most under $1,000. She's not spending a whole lot on ads either compared to her opponents. Back on the 17th, she did spend about $400,000 on political strategy and marketing firms. But I got to say, her record sort of feels to me like a candidate that's behind in the polls with time running out. Don't get me wrong, she has financial support, but not in the same way as Kotek and Drazen. But she has been adamant on the campaign trail that she is not dropping out, and she's in this thing until the very end. And who knows? The polls have been wrong before. We'll see how it all shakes out in just under 2 weeks. Well, that's what we know about the money in these races. What are your thoughts about it? The governor's race is the most expensive in Oregon state history. And most of you are telling us you're sick and tired of the ads that are running. All right, so let's put this on you. What's a better way that the candidates could be spending the money to win your vote? Let us know. Send us an email right now to thestory@kgw.com or leave us a voicemail. Call our phone number, 503-226-5090.